you by the Mercado, Jay Foreman, Nick Sainert, Nate O'Brennan. The Mercado located at 84th and Havelock, certified Piedmontese, and their special ingredients and butcher shop. I'm here for a quick little bullpen session.
There you go.
With these two little chumps. So we're about to get into
Excuse me. We call you say that you look good, and then you call us chumps. That ain't right.
You did, so I take it back from you. This
All right,
dude over here, he can't get no compliments. What's up?
That's not true. I can give compliments. It's just not true. I just never said you looked good.
I said you look good.
That's fine.
I know what it's like to dress up every day. I respect the grind.
I
do.
You do?
I do. I understand it.
You sure about that?
Jay, I was about to leave. And then
why?
you said, no, sit down. I need to spread some ism.
Yeah. You know what the ism is?
Wisdom.
Yes. And that's what
Come on. Asking me if I even know what that is.
Here's what I'm gonna ask you. Do you know where Chase Brown is originally from?
Ooh, this is interesting.
I actually think I do know.
All right, here we go. Let's hear it.
I think it's Minnesota, isn't it?
No, close.
Wisconsin?
No. He's a
Minnesota.
Canadian.
He is a Canadian.
He's a Canadian.
He's a Canuck.
Wow.
He's a Canuck.
Minnesota, Canada, kind of the same thing.
Yeah, he's a Canuck. Yeah, it is.
London.
Kind of.
London, Ontario.
Yep, London.
It's pretty impressive.
London, Canada. I remember because I
Pretty good.
remember making the connection. But he's good.
Do you know who's older, him or his brother?
I do not.
His brother Sidney is older.
I didn't even know he had a brother on the team.
He's on the team?
Yep.
What does he play?
Safety.
Is he any good?
Yeah.
He was like the you remember the Surratt brothers? Wake Forest? They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Always got to bring an
Yeah,
ACC.
You know I love the ACC. They both got
got to
drafted.
bring an ACC.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's phenomenal. That's great.
They're pretty
Do you know
good.
what? Do you
That's all
know
I'm
where
saying.
Chase Brown went to college previously?
Oh, he's a transfer. I didn't know that either. Give me a hint.
It's in Michigan.
Central Michigan.
No, Western.
Ooh.
I was not aware of that. I just found out. I mean, he's been in college since 2018.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder he's any good. He's a grown man playing with a bunch of kids.
He's been like on the BYU type of thing.
Yeah, mission trip.
Yeah, and his mission is about to come to completion this weekend and get derailed.
Oh yeah, confident.
Why
Feel good
wouldn't
about. Well, I'm saying, you feel good about it.
Shout out to you,
Yeah,
CJ.
I think the defense will perform well.
CJ says he has a good lady friend that lives in London, Ontario. There you go. He might know Chase Brown, or she might know Chase Brown. Small world. How about that?
So what you guys were talking about? What's Strick?
I just got here at 4.
Strick,
so you late to the party.
Strick is remote today. He had somewhere he had to be. You know how Strick is. He's kissing babies, shaking hands, all that good stuff.
So brief me on the Texas A&M thing, man. 3 or 4 guys are suspended.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that.
And
for a
proper
while.
benefits?
No, we don't know what they were doing, but the conversation kind of went away from that, and more than anything, too. And we brought up you too, Jay. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
We're worried that NIL is going to become one of the situations like Texas A&M. It's just where you can get paid the most money, where you can get the best benefits instead of fit. Because
well, that's a personal
you
choice.
look at, but I think I'm worried that that's what it's going to be, because you always talk about, at least the teams that you had. A lot of what made Nebraska great is that you had guys that fit, the guys that got it. But I think in the current state of NIL, that's not really where athletes are going to be headed.
No, I mean they're definitely on a business tip right from the get-go, and the reverse of that is if you don't perform, then people are going to be looking at you sideways about your NIL deal, which you didn't get. I mean, Quinn Ewers, right? He signed that huge deal, reclassified. Obviously didn't get all the money that he had supposedly had, and then he went down to Texas and probably got some more. So, sooner or later, guys got to perform. But I don't have a problem with them taking advantage of the system. Get all the money you can get. The biggest thing is your best NIL deal, your best negotiating tool is your play. Whether you're in high school or college, there's guys in high school having NIL deals, and so your best negotiation tactic or tool is your tape. Your best negotiating tactic, if you want to get a look from said college, is your tape, or what you're doing is, 7-on-7, so forth and so on. I think sometimes kids get more enamored with that stuff, and then they forget that they got to play. And then when they go out there, it doesn't work out for them. And, but the guys that generally can keep it in perspective are the guys that generally are your better players. So somebody that is good won't lose focus. Like a perfect example is Will Anderson down at Alabama. He got 7 or 8 sacks. He's the best player. He's the best football player in the nation. Was easily the most dominant last year. Has great NIL deals, and he's on one of the top teams in America. And his most important thing that he worries about is playing good football. Same with the quarterback. Same with that CJ Stroud. They keep it all in perspective. There's time for it, and then it's shut down. I think sometimes, and I think NIL and social media, I think it affects teams, your lower echelon teams, more because that's an easy kind of crutch for when you're not successful. You know what I'm saying? Whereas teams that are, playing for, I call it playing for keeps, they're going to be focused on what's most important is putting the best product out there, which is you playing on the, playing teams that, and then it goes hand in hand. So universities that sometimes, have to be, operate in desperation, then you overpay for guys. And the only reason I know it, because when I was with Houston, we were paying average players like Pro Bowlers. So it was like agents were like, hey, just get through your first like 4-year, 5-year contract, come to Houston. Charlie Casserly is going to give you a check that you don't deserve. But then it never really came to fruition. Then finally Houston started to draft better, develop players, keep guys around that actually were good football players. And then when Gary Kubiak was there, you saw constantly in the playoffs, winning the AFC South, so forth and so on, right? And that's no different than college. You got to, like Texas A&M getting all those guys, all the top 4 defensive linemen in the class.
I mean, they had the number 1 recruiting class in the country, but they had more money than anybody.
But they had the top 4 defensive linemen, right? Just on pure numbers alone, they're all not going to they're all not going to meet their standard of potential. So now you just have, not drained your bank account, but put a big hit in your bank account for a position group that most likely won't come to, fruition. And then 1 or 2 or even more might be in the transfer portal within a 1 or 2 or 3 year period. So then you have just overspent and then get a, return on your investment. So you can't fault the kids for it. They don't know any better. No. I fault the universities. They're if you're going to be operating in this space, you need to be operating with the business acumen. They think, and then here's also what sometimes people do is they think, oh, well, we went and got the guy out of the transfer portal, so all our problems are solved. Well, whoever it is, if Nick's in the transfer portal and he's at, let's go Wake Forest, right? And he's the, we just only reason to say Wake Forest because you just said he's the
nice.
In the transfer portal as a tight end or whatever. Well, just because he was good in the ACC doesn't mean he's going to come to the Big Ten and put up the same numbers. You get what I'm saying? So just because you were good in North Carolina or wherever Wake Forest is doesn't mean you're going to come up here and be good. So so that means you still have to coach him because what made Nick successful in Wake Forest might be different here because in his offense, he might not never had to block. He might not never had to shift or motion. He might have just been a tight end like by name, but he always worked in the slot and is in the flex. Well, in here, you got to be an inline blocker. So now he's actually no different than a freshman or like a JUCO player that you would be recruiting with a less NIL deal. So you have to think about it strategically and look at it like holistically, maybe a top-down view. And like you said, the biggest thing I think is fit. Do you fit the university? Do you fit in the locker room? Do you fit this team? And do you fit what these guys are specifically at said position?
And I'm worried kids just don't care anymore. I mean, within
I think they care because well, first of all, I think they care. I think you can't fault an 18-year-old kid that somebody comes and they say, okay, this is $1 million or $2 million. I mean, this is life-changing money.
Oh yeah, no, you can't fault the kids, but I think it's just doing a disservice to them though, because they very well might be a better fit at an Iowa opposed to Texas.
But that's the way it is.
But yeah, it's always been a business.
It's always been like that. I've seen and I've heard.
I think it might get worse though.
I think it'll hit a peak and then people will just stop giving money, or at least huge amounts of money. Back when I was, getting recruited, there would be schools that would be taking guys in at positions just so another school wouldn't get them. That's no different. No, just now money's being exchanged, but there, there'd be a university say that they would go get an extra running back. Or here's a perfect example. Okay, so Georgia, right? University of Georgia, when Kirby Smart obviously is the coach, they had Jake Fromm. They signed a man from Chicago, Justin Fields, right? And then they signed. They had another quarterback that ended up transferring when they signed Justin Fields. So you're essentially getting the number one quarterback for the 3 years in a row, just so he won't go anywhere else.
They had JT Daniels too.
And he left, right? And then also they had Walker and all the guys they had on defense this year. And then Jermaine Johnson was there too. So it's no different. It's just not now guys are getting paid. So you're accumulating all these assets, right? Without even a strategic plan for each one of the players. So at the end of the day, the schools and the coaches really don't care. They want to if they can get 10 pass rushers and nobody else can get them, they figure like, okay, well, 5 of them will work out, and the 5 that don't, then so be it. Nobody else got them.
That was my thing with the whole Jordan Addison situation last offseason. He liked his time at Pittsburgh and everything, but USC comes and offers him $3 million, offers him a house, offers him a couple cars.
That's not right to me.
And here's maybe it's not right, but you can't fault the kid. You have to fault the people in charge. You have to fault the people in charge, because guess what? If Jordan Addison goes and gets a career-ending injury this year, he gets his $3 million and he's able to help out. Like, you also have to worry about like where these athletes come from, right? I mean, this could be money that they can give to their parents to get them out of a poor neighborhood. Like this is you never know the situation.
And for Jordan Addison, look, the quarterback that he set the records with is gone.
Yeah,
the offensive coordinator that helped him feed him the ball is gone. Now Pittsburgh, is kind of a decent team this year. I think they probably
they completely switched their whole identity on offense. Right. It is run heavy now.
Right. So it's totally crazy. Different. So then say he decides to stay there, and say Pittsburgh comes up with like 1 million, 1.5 million, but it affects his draft status. Now he can go out to Pac-12 where you can just run through guys, and you're going to get tons of opportunities. So on that case,
I still feel bad for the programs though, because I'm not saying I don't fault the kid whatsoever.
Why would you feel bad for the program?
Well, I mean,
they've been making money off of these kids hand and foot for decades.
No, not from that perspective. I'm saying a coach like Pat Narduzzi in a program like Pittsburgh, Jordan Addison didn't have a plan to leave until USC just came in and said, "Hey, here's $3 million," and then you just poach him. Is that it's becoming basically free agency?
I'm sure other schools that probably came at him, but USC is probably more appealing with Lincoln Riley. But would you feel bad for all those kids if Pat Narduzzi got the Chicago Bears job?
But then I think that the transfer is warranted. The reason that I have an issue with Jordan Addison transferring is that he wasn't going to enter the transfer portal until someone came to him and said, "We will give you this money." At that point, it's basically free agency. And then just don't call it the transfer portal, just call it free agency. Call it what it is. Because that's the issue that I have with it's not that Jordan Addison left, and it's not even that I feel bad for the institution. I just think that it's kind of unfair to a team like a Pittsburgh that, okay, you have this elite player. He fits in your program. He's setting records. He likes the situation he's in, and the only reason he's leaving is because of money. That just doesn't sit right with me.
An opportunity. But
it's kind of crazy because
there's NCAA rules where he can't turn pro anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm sure he would be a top tier draft choice.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, if he was able to leave.
Yeah.
So he's handcuffed anyways by the rules. So now he has to try to find a way to operate within those rules.
It's kind of also crazy because now you have to walk a line and make sure teams aren't, like you said, poaching or tampering. That's the word I was looking for. Tampering with other programs. Because
that's what was happening.
Because that in that situation, that was what was happening, which once again goes back to you can't blame the kid. You have to blame the people in charge. You have to blame the Lincoln Rileys for allowing that to happen and setting that in motion. But once again, that goes on the people in charge, not necessarily the athlete. And like another thing is what's frustrating about this whole entire situation without a cap on it. That's where you kind of get into this gray area of Pittsburgh can't compete with USC in money
ever.
And like Northwest or not, maybe not Northwestern, Purdue could never compete with Nebraska
or Ohio State
in front of money. So like, let's say Nebraska, if they wanted to, if they were okay with tampering and they wanted to get an athlete, they could go to anybody that has less money and just say, listen, we'll just keep bidding until we get a Jordan Addison. Like we'll keep on giving, we'll just keep on driving that price up. Where USC could go, hey, Snoop says he'll give as much as we need to, to get Jordan Addison. So that's what's frustrating is the process in where Lincoln Riley kind of tampered with the whole process with Caleb Williams telling, hey, Jordan, man, this is what I was told they would give you. And there's no way Pittsburgh will ever be able to match it. I mean, that's why Pittsburgh's final offer was like 1.1 and USC's was 3.5 and could have been more.
And that's why
you're never going to be able to compete.
Because the recruiting is already unfair as it is. Like the schools like Purdue, you're never going to compete with Nebraska as it is. That's just the reality of the situation. It's always been that way. But now on top of that, you have to deal with the transfer portal and paying kids. That's where I think it just doesn't sit right with me.
But do you really care though? Do you feel bad for them? Really? I don't.
Maybe feeling bad is the wrong word, but
I feel their pain. I feel it. You know what, Nate? I like that you're sensitive. I like it. What's that called? Empathy.
Yes,
I like it.
Because you know why? Because
you're a good-natured guy.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, you're making me feel all warm and fuzzy.
I should.
I mean,
because this is the problem. You guys,
I feel bad for Pittsburgh, man.
You guys don't understand what it's like.
I'm gonna write Pat Narduzzi a deep, heartfelt letter. And you know what it's going to say? You know what it's going to say?
Congrats on making the 2021 ACC championship game.
I'm going to tell him not a damn thing.
But this is the issue.
It's going to be a blank sheet of paper, and he's going to be like, he's going to get one of those like erasers that think it's something underneath there. Ain't nothing.
Just wait till it happens, but wait until it happens to you because Nebraska is one of those schools that it can happen to. I'm just saying, say Nebraska had Jordan Addison and USC stepped in and said, whatever Nebraska's paying you, we'll pay you $1 million more. You'd be frustrated. You would be frustrated with the situation.
I would be frustrated with the
Nebraska didn't match it.
I would be frustrated with the process. I wouldn't be frustrated with the idea that Nebraska loses a top athlete to another institution. I'd be frustrated with the process that there aren't stipulations and guidelines on it, which would be coming down the road.
Essentially, all that would need to happen is Jordan Addison's dad would have to have back channel conversations with Lincoln Riley's, handler. And it'd be done that way, then you'd be okay with it?
Well, no. I'm saying as long as there are guidelines. Once again, I'm not blaming the athlete.
I do like the cap.
Like a cap
because it creates. If you can't get to the $1 million
to the cap, then
that's
so
your
be
fault.
it.
But
Bingo.
This is a cap, and no, you can't go over it.
Bingo.
But people still will go over. But at least if there's like a cap number that say like
it creates more transparency for what is needed to compete.
Trundle, I'm not saying that a coach shouldn't go after the best players. They absolutely should. The problem is that the rule is flawed. Because if you're a head coach, like if you're Lincoln Riley, if the NCAA is going to let you get away with it, absolutely go after Jordan Addison. Why wouldn't you?
Jake and Lincoln, he said, you know what? He said, you know what, Nate? That's life.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Tell them, Ben, so they can go back to playing kids underneath the table again. That's right. I need to. You know what, Coach Osborne? He didn't give me no McDonald's bag or no.
You guys are acting too like I'm against NIL. I'm all for NIL.
Ben Trundle, Jake and Lincoln, he's against it
I'm all for NIL, but I think that the way that it's currently handled is not correct.
Well, because there's no consistency.
There's no consistency
with how it's handled.
There is no rule,
and it's very gray.
Wild West.
Exactly, and I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of the Wild West.
You are.
You
feel bad.
No, I don't like westerns. I don't like westerns, Jay. I don't like westerns.
You're such a nice,
they scare me.
Loving guy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
If we play Pittsburgh in a non-conference, do you want to just give him a hug?
I want to beat the hell. I can't stand Pittsburgh. For me to say anything nice about Pittsburgh,
we'll give them 10 free points.
All right, they'd still be Pittsburgh.
All right,
Pittsburgh's a bunch of chumps.
How
about that?
Just like the Hokies. Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, the Hokies have their own set of issues.
All right, so we're going to go into a break here, and then we're going to come back. We're going to try to talk about the Fighting Illini, Illinois. You know what? I heard Rashawn today. He called him Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
Is that his thing?
That's him.
No, it's Illinois.
Yeah, there's no S.
Illinois, the Fighting Illini. You know what? And I remember when Coach Osborne used to talk about when we played Missouri, he called him Missouri. Like, it sounded like syrup. I was like, who the heck is Missouri?
That's how people say it.
Missouri?
No.
Yeah, they do.
I know a lot of people
never heard.
Look, Marky. Yeah, see, look.
Like it's a common thing to say Missouri.
It's more common than Missouri.
No way.
Yeah.
Dang, I had no clue. I had never heard that. I've never heard Missouri before.
You want to know why you never heard?
Here we go. Say the joke. Say the pious joke. Sheltered.
Because at Pius X, you guys enunciate everything to a T. Missouri. That's not Ebonics. That's just country folks. They just
Missouri.
Everybody hates Missouri so much they just said Missouri. They don't even want to say the last re.
Now Illinois, that's not a thing.
That must be is Illinois. Was that founded by Frenchmen or something?
I was born in Illinois.
The S is just silent.
Yeah, that's French.
Sure. I don't
But
know.
no, Missouri. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know he was born in Illinois?
How about that?
No.
Where at?
Rockford.
What?
Yeah.
You're from Rockford?
I was born. Well, I lived there until maybe 5-6 years old. I'm from Virginia. I'm from
Rockford's
Virginia.
the hood, though.
How about that? Why do you think I got so tough?
Oh, that's suspect. All right, we're going to break. We'll be back with my man Nate O'Brennan from Rockford, Illinois, and
You just said it too.
and Nick.
You can't
from Pius X.
you
Yeah,
can't
I
get
know.
mad at Rashad
I
if you're
can't
gonna
get-
say it. If you're gonna say it, use the S.
All right, we'll be back in 5 minutes.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
You want to join a team of industry leaders, a team where you can learn and grow, a team that treats you right. Well, don't hesitate to look at all the great career opportunities at Acres Equipment, the largest John Deere dealer network in Nebraska. We offer industry-leading wages, state-of-the-art benefits, and a great culture that focuses on both our customers and our employees. Find your next career opportunity at acres.com/careers.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln. It has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
October often presents all 4 seasons within 1 month. Are you and your feet prepared for the highs and lows? Stop in now to Brown Shoe Fit for a fall sale. Get $10 to $15 off any regular price shoe over $70. Save on dress shoes, athletic shoes, boots, and even hiking shoes. Brown's has great brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clark's, Hoka, Merrell, and more. Some exclusions may apply, so see store for details. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today for their fall sale, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Trendy or traditional, Gary Michaels Clothiers specializes in men's tailored clothing. Off the rack or custom made to measure, there is simply no better shopping experience. Offering designer furnishings, sportswear, shoes, outerwear, and accessories for a man always concerned at looking his best. With world-class tailoring and personal service, all makes Gary Michaels Clothiers Nebraska's premier store for men. Come visit us now at Village Gardens, south of 56th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer two of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room, located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital, boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, or much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas.
Congratulations on getting your diploma.
You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back, Old School. Nick going to take a nap. Nate O'Brien, Jay Foreman.
Right.
Hopefully, Nick makes it to his car, right? Because they got some construction going out there. It's shaking the whole building up in here. So.
Oh, yeah. Taking care of business.
Taking care of business. So it's Wednesday, is hump day. The hay's in the barn, per se. You know, you're right on the back end of the weekend or the week heading into this game against the Fighting Illini. And this is, to be honest with you, Nate, this is going to be the biggest challenge for this offensive line all season. This right here.
So
even if the only other team defensive line wise or front, say, you know, front guys that is a bigger challenge would be Ohio State.
All their leading tacklers are D linemen, aren't they?
Well, it's not only the leading tacklers are D line, but they have 23 sacks.
Oh my God!
As a defense, 16 of them come from 4 guys, 4 each. 3 sophomores and 1 true freshman. Exactly.
What are they feeding that freshman? That's what I want to know. Get him on whatever nutrition plan that is. My God.
Jazon Newton, who's their leading tackler, and he's leading in tackles for loss for 8 tackles for loss for 40.
He's the freshman?
No, he's a sophomore. Okay. And then you have Keith Randolph Jr., another sophomore, 8 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. You have Gabe Jacas, right? He's the true freshman. He has 4 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. And then you have Seth Coleman, who's a sophomore outside linebacker, but I'm sure he rushed it from the outside on 3rd downs, and he has 4 sacks and 4 tackles for losses. And then they have Tariq Barnes, who's their middle guy, and he has 5 tackles for losses, or 5 tackles for loss and one sack. So they're pretty active in that front. 5 to 6 guys. So, they feel like they can bring the pressure, obviously, with the front, and they do some exotic stuff and they try to confuse you, but one thing is letting you know they're getting home, and they're creating some splash plays as well. So I think, physically, I don't think it's anything that Nebraska hadn't seen, but I think as far as execution wise, this is going to be huge. This is going to be huge to be able to communicate effectively, and be steady and weather the storm, because there's going to be a series where, the defense will have the offense's number, but you got to keep punching and keep plugging away, because they've shown that, that their teams have been able to move the ball against them, especially if you spread the field out a little bit, which is, you could look right at Indiana, which is kind of, right up into our skill set as far as skills positions. And so, but you got to protect the quarterback. Understand that, what we have to do is just don't be that guy or that group that lets guys go right into the backfield to either hit, Grant or Casey. And if you do that and you keep giving yourself chances, right? Second and third and manageable, and stay ahead of the chains, they will start to wear down. Because the one thing, they're kind of like, you ever seen Rocky 3?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's there. You remember when he was fighting Clubber Lang? And Apollo Creed says, we got to get him, we got to get past the third or fourth round because Clubber is trying to put you away quick. That's what they do. And they play good complementary football, right? Pretty decent on special teams. Offense is ball control, physical, and beat you up. And the defense is, playing ahead generally or being in advantageous positions because they play the run well, that they can go and try to get your quarterback. So that's why if you flip the script on them, it'll be interesting to see how they adjust. And one thing I will also say about this defense is they have had tremendous amount of good luck and good health, which obviously helps, right? So it's continuity and execution. So it's a big challenge, especially well coached too. Yeah. And you got to give them credit. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from them. It's a big challenge, but they're definitely gettable. But you're gonna have to go out there and really play for it and really go take it. And so I'm gonna be interested to see how both sides of our lines not just react, because then react mean that you're just taking on the chin. I'd like to see them come out and set the tempo. I think one of the biggest things that I saw against Purdue was the defense kind of oozed into it, right? You kind of like ease into it, and then you start getting to go. Well, sometimes if you do that, you're already too far behind. And so set the tempo early, coming off a bye week, be happy, healthy, and refreshed, and going out there trying to make a statement. So it's real interesting. I'm not a big numbers guy, but when you see 4 young guys like that, one that's letting you know that they're recruiting and developing really quickly, and they have guys that fit this scheme that are coming in to produce really well. But then also when you have a position group that's really, really that active, that actually can be advantageous for Nebraska, because now where you can put a lot of your focus, right? To stop, this position group. Now, the only thing that's a problem is you got 4 dudes bringing it. So, hey, it's time to man up. And so it'll be interesting to see what Coach Whipple and those guys. I wanted to ask you this, though. I didn't really listen to the whole Mickey press conference. I don't get it. I don't live and die by it, like every word. He's plenty, capable to talk for himself, and he's actually very clear, so you don't have to really go back and kind of evaluate what he's saying. I wanted to ask you about their decision to keep the coordinators home, and if you think that I think it's a positive. I wanted to see what you thought. As far as they all went out and recruited, but make sure the coordinators be here to kind of really hone in, self-scout, and come up with a really good game plan for this game. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I think it shows that Mickey Joseph is being a leader in that sense and making decisions more than anything. And I think that's what you want your head coach to do is kind of take the reins on something like that. From a recruiting perspective, I mean, he's still out recruiting. I think that's something. And I think that's huge too, because then you look at a player like Malachi Coleman, who does decide to come to Nebraska. I mean, that sets a standard, that makes a statement. And I think that's something that's important too, because I don't know if really we in recent memory, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but during the season, I can't remember the last time you had like a statement recruit say, okay, I'm coming here. I mean, that sets the standard for the entire class. So, I mean, it's at least having a plan. And I think more than anything, that's just what I want to see, is that there's a plan, there's a direction that you're going with this. And I think that shows that's what they're at least trying to do.
Yeah, I feel the same. I like it that it's leadership to where, he's going to still go out there and recruit and have everybody else go out and recruit. But he's like, hey, look, you guys, this is what I need you to do.
Right.
And so,
it's leadership.
It's leadership. Yeah. It's clarity. And the expectations are still the same. Let's do what we need to do to put ourselves in the best position to be successful, both in the short term, which is obviously the rest of the season, and then long term is still go out and get some, new guys and bring them in. I also want to ask you this real quick before we go on the break. What are your thoughts on when they said they're going to be really heavy into the JUCO ranks as far as the offensive line?
I don't know. I'm very indifferent when it comes to offensive line, because I'm more than any other position group. I think the offensive line needs to be developed in-house. I've always said that because when you look at the transfer portal, it's been very successful for some teams. You can look at basically every position group across the board. You'll find success, whether it be receiver, secondary, defensive end,
pop.
like running back, quarterback, all that. But very, very rarely do you get an elite offensive lineman from the transfer portal. It doesn't really happen.
The JUCO,
I know, but
JUCO's different than getting somebody that's flamed out at
JUCO
Virginia
is different. Okay, well, careful. Virginia Tech actually had 2 4-star linemen end up transferring, which was bizarre. That almost never happens, but I don't know. I personally always think the best offensive lines. I mean, you look at the Iowas, the Minnesotas. What happens? I mean, they're developed in house. That's just the reality of their program, and it's why they're successful year in and year out. I'm not saying it can't work, and something needs to be fixed because right now they've got an absolute train wreck on their hands. So I don't know what the solution is. Maybe JUCO is, but
don't you think
I don't
JUCO
love
could
it.
be the short term, and then you mix in some of the young guys?
That's the problem, and that's why I'll defer to you on this because the offensive line situation is an absolute disaster right now. And I don't know. I mean, you can try everything under the sun. I mean, they tried hitting the transfer portal. They've tried having guys that probably weren't ready step into that position, throw them into the fire, for lack of better words. I mean, you can try the JUCO now. The problem with an offensive line is I don't know if there's really a quick fix. I mean, it's one of those things. There really just isn't.
Well, I mean, but then also I feel like, Coach Rayola's just got here in like January or whenever, right? January, February.
Yeah.
He really didn't get to recruit anybody because they, for whatever reason, they didn't let him recruit anybody. It seems like, or at least that's what's been said. And then, you really don't even know what you have on this roster. Really, you get what I'm saying? Because of whether or not in the physical shape that he likes or his coaching style, you just don't have a true barometer of what you have, and so, but then also, when you watch the tape closely. When you really, really watch it, there's improvement, but then also, like you said, there's disastrous plays when there's whiffs, right? But
just letting guys run, not even knowing their assignments sometimes. I mean, that's stuff.
Or not making a choice.
Come on, yeah.
The biggest thing is that, if you do something, because if you don't do something, you do nothing. Really,
and then you look like a fool,
right? So, but when those plays happen, I always go back to the 4 plays I saw where there was just. Granted, it's like. My old saying it, or is like it's whipped cream on horse doo doo because you got 4 guys stonewalling their guys, and then you got one guy like, oops, I forgot the guy blocked
running free,
right? Yeah. So you get, so then to the layman's eyes, right, it's like, man, that offensive line is horrible, right? But in reality, is you got 4 guys doing the right thing. That's why you got to have a cohesive unit. So I think coming out of the bye week, that you'd like to think they're going to be a little bit better. I think a combination approach of continue to develop, because I think if you just try to pin all your success on going to get 5 guys out of JUCO, it's not going to work.
No.
And so I think you got to have a combination. I think that combination, whether you present guys on the roster, because I do think they have some talent that can be developed. Ideally, you wouldn't have to pin all your hopes on Teddy Prohaska and stuff like that. Get some JUCO guys and you get some guys to continue to develop, then you can see things turn around and be more, a cohesive unit, because you get some guys in here that knows how to play, know how to compete.
I think,
and then another year with I'm assuming with Coach Raiola, then I think things would be better, because I think you got to give it time. I mean, good offensive lines are developed over time, but there just needs to be the standard that we can't be and whiff as much as times that we have.
And I think that's a big part of it too, Jay. And I think that's why the short-term fix is so difficult at offensive line, that I think the offensive line, probably more than any other position group, has to be cohesive and work together. I mean, like you can just insert an offensive lineman. He can be the best offensive lineman in the work, but if he doesn't work with the group, if they're not on the same page, it's not going to work.
Right.
Like you said, I mean, you're going to have one guy that's just out of position. Something's going to be wrong. So I think that development is so important, and why Minnesota and Iowa do such a good job at it is that they recruit in bunches. So those guys develop together on the field.
Yeah.
And the offensive line, that's just so important. Exactly. And it's just important to have that.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation because on the other hand, Alabama's put a lot of guys in the draft first round. Mm-hmm. None of them have really been as good as they were in college at the pro level.
Yeah.
But up until they get drafted, they look like it because they do the same thing over and over and over.
They were the same guys, 4 years.
Same guys, same system, same plays.
Yep.
They look a lot better on tape. But then when you got to go out there and survive on your own, they don't look as good. So, you kind of got to have a realistic expectation. And, does more running the ball or different type of running kind of help out the offensive line? But then if you can't block the guy in front of you, or you forget to block the guy in front of you, it don't matter what run play you call. So, so I think it's just that you got to find a happy medium. And I think if, players learn more, play better, the results will be better. And then, you just be able to move on from there. So I think it's that's good, couple questions, conversation. So we're going to go into a short break here. Then we got a short segment right before the end of the hour. Then we're going to go into that 5 to 6 hour and focus on Nebraska's offense and defense and the things that we like to talk about. So we'll be right back on Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Casey's General Stores is giving away 2 tickets to each Nebraska football home game this season. To enter, just head to any Casey's General Store location in Lincoln during the football season, scan the QR code at the front counter, and fill out the online form. One winner will be chosen at random 2 days before that week's game. So head over to Casey's, stock up on all your tailgating snacks and drinks, and register to win 2 tickets to a Nebraska football game, brought to you by Casey's General Store and 93.7 The Ticket.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and Brent Excavate.
Trendy or traditional, Gary Michaels Clothiers specializes in men's tailored clothing. Off the rack or custom made to measure, there is simply no better shopping experience. Offering designer furnishings, sportswear, shoes, outerwear, and accessories for a man always concerned at looking his best. With world-class tailoring and personal service, all makes Gary Michaels Clothiers Nebraska's premier store for men. Come visit us now at Village Gardens, south of 56th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping, thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
This is Old School on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back. Old School short segment right before the end of the hour. Jay Foreman, Nate Brennan representing on the ones and twos while this building is shaking because they are doing something outside. Feels like a dang earthquake out here.
Working on the parking lot.
Yeah. All that tar.
Did you ever
out
experience a earthquake?
I think one when I was out in San Francisco, just like a little one.
I experienced one. It was in Virginia. I was in Blockbuster. Like DVDs started falling off.
Oh, really?
It was crazy. It was kind of cool, actually. But not like cool, but it was an interesting experience because I'd never experienced an earthquake.
People out in California, when it was just like a little shake, and I was like, "Whoa!" They just kept it moving. Like it was,
they get it all the time out there.
Yeah, they get it all the time. So yeah, it's a real deal, man. But we're talking Husker football. We're going into the quick, so I think we're going to ask you real quick here, Mr. Nate, put you on the spot.
All right. Let's do it.
Illinois is favored.
7.5.
7.5. So you like that hook. You just got excited.
Oh, I love the hook.
Are you a gambler?
Oh yeah.
Look at you. You just got that gambling face.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I do like to dabble with the gambling.
Yeah, but you just got that gambling face. You just love it, right? I can see you at a bar, 6 beers deep. Give me another one because the hook just saved you. Right?
No, trust me, I love the hook, and you got to remember too, Jay. In Virginia, sports gambling is legal. You can just do it on your phone.
I got you.
So I was just used to it there, but now you can't do that here. But yeah,
What is your feeling on Illinois being favored only by 7?
I think
does that give you confidence? Or is that like lack of confidence in Illinois to blow the game open?
I think what's so interesting about it to me is if Illinois is 7.5, why was Purdue 13.5? Because they say that a home field advantage is only supposed to give you 3 points.
See, I don't know this. You're educating me.
A home field advantage is supposed to give you 3 points when it comes to gambling. So that means that Purdue got an extra 3 points because they were at home, and their spread was 13.5. So Nebraska is getting 3 points. So say it was at Illinois, then it would flip and it would be 13.5. It would be 10 because Nebraska is not a home field. That's your neutral site. So it'd be 13.5. So basically they're saying that it's the same matchup as if it were against Purdue, which I would consider Illinois a better team.
You lost me here. They're favored by 7.5.
Yes.
So if this game was at Champaign,
yes,
they would be favored by 11.
They'd be favored by so it's 7.5. Say it was at a neutral site. Nebraska's getting the 3.5. So neutral site. So the spread, you have to imagine that it's basically 10.
So yeah, but if they're giving Nebraska,
because Nebraska has the advantage because they're at home,
right? So then you add that 7.5 to the whatever the thing is.
Yeah,
right now.
the 3,
the 3.5.
Yes.
So that's 11.
No, it's 10.5. So 7.5. So 7.5 plus 3 is 10.5.
Oh, I thought you said the home field advantage is 3.5 points.
No, 3 points.
Okay, so
you get 3 points.
So they are essentially saying it's a 10.5.
Yes, but Nebraska's getting 3 points because they're the home team.
So you're saying now you're saying that since Purdue got 3 points, then it's actually okay. I got you.
Yeah,
I got
that's
you.
usually how
I
they.
didn't even know that, man. I just now when I watch games and I see
right.
people up there, and I don't even know what. The only thing I know is the over under because you add the points.
Right. Well, that's why think about NFL games all the time. Have you ever noticed that they're usually like 2.5, 3.5 points? That usually means that they're giving the advantage to the home team, basically. So basically, it's a toss-up game, but they're giving the advantage to the home team.
Do you think them refs know that?
Yeah.
Some of them refs, but hey, I'm gonna tell you this: When I was down there last year, man, Nebraska was not getting no home field advantage with the refs. Them refs, that Michigan game, his name is Reggie. He was horrible. I always remember when I looked down there and saw who was reffing, and I saw Reggie, I was like, oh, this is going to be a long game. Because he did the Oklahoma game.
Really?
He did the Oklahoma at Oklahoma. He did Michigan. And I swear he did the Iowa game. He did, like, every game he ref. I remember I used to hear Scott Frost go, Reggie, yell. Reggie, yelling at Reggie. I used to want to go and say, brother, you have a long day, man. What you thinking about? If I had some money, I would have gave him 100.
Listen, I don't know. This is the thing, too. Is like, now, I don't want to confuse anyone. Let's just look at it as it is. 7.5 points. To be honest with you,
what does that make you feel? Is that something you're going to lay some money in?
I don't know. I love the hook. I love that they're giving Nebraska the half.
So does that mean if you took Illinois, they have to win by 8 points?
Yep. That's why I'll give myself a hook. So say if it was 7, I probably would have given myself a hook regardless. Because if Nebraska were to keep it and lost by 7, you would win.
Nebraska would win. Yeah. Or Illinois would win.
No, you'd win. If Nebraska keeps it within a touchdown, you would win. Because you got that hook. Nebraska would. So say Nebraska loses by a touchdown. Since it's 7.5, that means that you would win your bet.
Yeah,
but if it's 7, it's a push.
Yeah, but how do you give yourself a hook?
Well, you can just do that. I mean, you can buy points.
You can?
Yeah, you can buy points. So I always give myself a hook just because
maybe you should have the Nate Brenner gambling out.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't want people listening to me because I'm a very streaky bettor.
So you're not very good.
Nah, it depends. I've gone on some really good stretches, but I've gone on some bad stretches.
Me picking games, I'm good at, but I don't like to bet. Here's a funny story. I'll tell you this real quick. I was in Vegas with a friend of mine. Actually, it was one of my best friends. He passed away. And we were down there. And remember when Duke lost they were number 2 seed and they lost to 15. Who was that? They lost to the lower seed 15 in the first round?
It was it Mercer?
Mercer.
Yes.
And you know what's funny? One night I was up, and Mercer didn't, they were always on crappy times. Or maybe it was a replay. I was up and I watched Mercer. And I was like, these dudes are actually good, right? Because you can see they were hitting threes, alley-oops, and they were physical. And I'd watched Duke all year because they were all in there every time. And I was like, man, they're number 2 seed, but they're
a little bit overrated, yeah.
And I remember we were in Vegas, and I said, Kevin, and we were down there for March Madness. I said, Kevin, and he was, they all had their sheets out or whatever. I said, look, man, I'll go 50-50 on you, but I'm only going if you're going. I said, Duke is going to lose. He's like, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, trust me, Duke's going to lose. Right? So we watched that game. And as it got closer, and I was like, did you bet? And he didn't kept saying nothing. And if he would have bet, he would have won $20,000.
Oh my gosh.
On that.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, they were heavy underdogs, rightfully so. Yeah. But I don't know. The spread, to be honest with you, I think Nebraska can keep it within a touchdown.
I think Nebraska's gonna win.
Do that.
I'm just
worried about the offensive line.
I got a question for you when we come out of the second hour. Because I shouldn't say if I was coaching, just in case I start coaching next year, but I'm just give you a fake scenario.
Coach Foreman.
Right. But we're going to go into break real quick for the next 6 or 7 minutes. We won't have it. We'll have a regular segment. Then I got to hit the road. This is Old School with Jay Foreman and Nate O'Brennan, the Virginia Tech Hokie here in Nebraska. We'll be back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
You finally finished your man cave in the basement. Brand new furniture, huge TV, and all of your collector's items. You're ready for football season. You are so excited until one bad rain and it is all ruined. Don't risk a flooded basement and countless dollars in damages when it can be avoided. Call John Henry's today for a free sump pump estimate for your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping. Thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back, Old School. We're going to the bullpen. Got Bach up in here.
Calling in the heavies.
Don't call him Spock. We got Bach up in here. This is Jay Foreman and his compadres on Old School. Brought to you by the Mercado, 84th and Havelock, certified Piedmontese and their special ingredients. Butcher Shop. My favorite thing to get out of Butcher Shop, Bach, is the tomahawk. My favorite dessert is the strawberry sorbet. So come one, come all. You can go down there with your boys, friends, family, date night, or whatever it is. It's a good place to go eat.
Yeah, I can't go wrong there. I miss going out there. I've been out there a few times. Yeah.
Have you
I've still never been. I need to go.
You're missing out, man.
I know.
It's easy, and you know the best part about it, or one of the best parts is great parking.
Oh yeah, plenty
Really?
of parking.
Yeah, plenty of
yeah,
parking.
Perfect.
I've never been to the Mercado. I've had their burgers though. The burgers are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've
Burgers
sent
are
in
awesome.
somebody to grab some. I remember
Yeah,
that.
I usually have Nick go, and then we'll just
Bach, man. I've been hearing you on here with Farley.
Yeah.
Sound like you got some haterade. So what's your you got a lot of haterade.
I try to
you-
balance out
yeah,
Farley
but
and Rashawn a little bit.
Yeah, but you got a lot of haterade against Mickey Joseph, man. What's up, man?
I don't have haterade against Mickey Joseph. I want him to earn the job. There's this idea right now that maybe we should just hand him the job. I think that he's it'll be very impressive if he's able to get this team to 5 to 6 wins. I think if he could do that, I think that
Then
you
you're
have
all
to really
in.
consider.
Then you
it.
got to see. Then it's your seal of approval.
Then it's box seal of approval, which is more important than Trev Alberts. Yeah.
It is.
I think so.
All right, we're going to arrange that. We're going to have Trev call in, and then you're going to explain why your opinion is more valuable than his.
Well, I wouldn't have signed Scott Frost to a deal with 6 wins coming into this season. The leaked contract that got out there.
Right. But see, do you know what that tells you though? That tells you that he wanted you to be successful. He wanted them to be successful.
He wanted Frost to be successful.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have put it in writing. It's like because
you know what? You don't want to know why not.
Well, because
why wouldn't you put it in writing? Because if you do it, then we both win.
Yeah, it makes Scott feel better. My thing is, I think they could have went 6-6 this year and regressed. I think they could. I think there was a possibility.
You out there? How can you regress? You 3-9. You win 6 games.
That's a solid team. You've seen 6-6 teams that aren't great.
You're a loser.
They were losers ultimately. Yeah, but you get my point. They had
Bach. You can't say if you're a solid team, you're 3-9.
If
you've done the same thing.
You could have looked worse.
9 times. You lost.
You could have looked worse.
You lost.
But the program, I guess you had
the games are meant to be won and lost.
But you had 2 second-round draft picks, the tight end of the year, a second-team All-American or what it was in JoJo Doman. They had some talent.
Right. So then you're making my point even more better. You had all that and you still lost.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not commending what they did last year. I
think I will say that it's the defense kept them around. But don't sit up there and let's not try to put like lipstick on this, ugly bull or something like that and be like, man, everything was all good. He was losing games.
But that's why I think at 6-6, I wouldn't have wrote down like, yeah, for sure, you're coming back at 6-6 and getting your $1 million back because I don't know if that's enough progress for me. I have to see how it looks.
Was it a guarantee you was coming back or a guarantee you was going to get $5 million? You still could have got fired.
Yeah.
Everybody can change their mind. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't writing though.
Yeah, but you would have got the same money as you would if you would have got fired. You got the same money that he got. So what's the difference?
But how does that help Scott? So it's like, hey, if he gets 6-6, he's not like Trev's not happy. He doesn't know what to do. Scott's getting, hey, I'm 6-6. You better give me my money back, otherwise, and then he's like, it's just a very odd situation.
Right, but at the end of the day, he probably didn't want any excuses. Like if you come to me and say, hey, look, I got to do this, and I say, okay, we come to 6 wins. And you like, I want it in writing. Okay, fine. You have it in writing. I want to see you do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it didn't get done anyway.
Yeah, I probably would have brought Scott back altogether, but that's for.
I think that's hindsight being 2020 though, because the fan base, the majority of the fan base wanted Frost back.
You had radio with me all
and I wanted Frost back,
and you wanted Frost back, and my opinion there. So that's not hindsight 2020.
I'm saying that people like there are a lot of fans that said that he should have been fired. That's hindsight being 2020.
I can guarantee you
that Iowa game was a sellout.
I can guarantee you, if I was coaching, I guarantee we'd be winning more. We'd win 6 games right now.
That's what we want to see.
I wouldn't be like, you ain't gotta pay me $5 million. I'll do it for 20% of that.
Yeah. Well, that's
and just get me on the back end. I can guarantee you right now, head coach for him, we wouldn't have lost Northwestern.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Onside kick?
Would you have gone with an onside kick?
What?
Would you have gone with an onside
kick? Would you have called the onside kick up 11 in the third quarter?
Nah.
No.
Well, you get the job.
I wouldn't have called that. There's too much time left, man. They already showed you they could put 14 points on you right before halftime.
What do you think about the idea? Because then there's this other idea floating out in the universe, or the Huskerverse, I should say, that, get Mickey Joseph, sign him to a 3-year deal for $1.5 million and trying to save all this money. It's like, no, I think if you're going to hire him.
Who said that?
I've seen, that's just an idea for people.
Why y'all trying to disrespect Mickey Joseph and you just overpaid supposedly for Scott Frost?
Yeah.
That's the problem I have. That unlike Rashawn, that's the problem I have right now, right? Like, Mickey Joseph, if he's the head coach, don't come cheat.
Yeah.
Jack, listen,
pay him to be the head coach.
Right. Don't try to nickel and dime when it's time for me to get paid.
Yeah.
You ain't have no discrepancy for Mike Riley.
No, nobody gets $1.5 million contract anymore. So I mean, I don't think it was in the realm of possibility.
Hey, man,
you know those message boards are.
This ain't the peanut league, man. Don't all of a sudden you penny pinching now when I'm time for me to be a head coach.
Frost got 15 mil to not coach for you.
Yeah, don't be coming at me like that. Don't disrespect me like that.
Yeah, I don't. There's no way that's gonna happen. I just seen it out there. It's like that's a weird way to support Mickey Joseph.
Come on, man. Really?
That's ignorant.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't know what
ignorant.
That's not happening in Big Ten football right now.
And you wouldn't even want a coach to accept that.
No,
you wouldn't. If a coach was like, "Okay, I'm cool with that," you wouldn't even want him to do that. First of all, nobody loves Nebraska that much for you to disrespect him, especially for him if they're the head coach to take that type. Pay him the going rate for whatever the head coach needs to be done. Period. Stop penny. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you going out here and hiring a coach, hire him.
Well, I think maybe
it's just like the Raiders. Remember when the Raiders used to draft a dude number 1 and then be like, "I don't want to pay you." Well, then what you drafted dude for? You know what I'm saying? They hold out all training camp and wonder why they ain't good.
Yeah. Well, they drafted the guy that had the most speed. That was the Raiders.
Yeah, I know.
They
went to the track. They went to the track trials instead of the combine. But
I think the idea of basically where they're going at with that, I assume, is that say you bring in a head coach like Urban Meyer, you're probably not going to have to pay Mickey as much as you pay Urban Meyer. Maybe that's their mindset of what they're thinking, because that's just the reality of the situation. Urban Meyer is a national championship winning coach. Yes, he's going to demand more money, but at the same time, why are we saying we're going to pay Mickey Joseph basically what the offensive coordinator at Minnesota makes? Like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Come on.
That's just people just being dumb on the message.
Yeah. I mean, he might be in the low end of the Big Ten, but that's because the Big Ten's everybody's getting $4 or $5 million, I think, now a year.
But why would he be on the low end? Why would he make less money? Why do you think he needs to like make less money than say like a Mike Locksley or something like that?
Yeah. I wouldn't go. Why? I wouldn't say that. I would say maybe less.
He has a harder job here. He's got to revamp his staff. He's got to develop players on the thing, and then he's got to
create a new culture.
Create a new culture. And you trying to pay? Are you trying to penny pinch?
I guess.
I mean, and I'm gonna ask you this before I go. Okay, just say he is in the final. There's 2, Mickey Joseph, and just say
Brett Bielema.
Okay, come on.
Nice.
I'm big Brett. I'm a big Brett Bielema guy.
Why? Because you want to go out. You be definitely eating at Mercado. He ain't missed a meal.
You know, I like Brett Bielema. 3 Big Ten titles. It's proven, and now he's got Illinois built up.
Okay,
that's fair.
It's not taking a random swing.
Right. That doesn't mean that he'll be successful here, though.
It doesn't, but I like to shop at places where Big Ten titles are had.
And how many jobs has he been to?
In the Big Ten or altogether? Arkansas was kind of a failure, but
Arkansas was not even about whether it's failure now. But what I get it. How many jobs has he been to?
Wisconsin, Arkansas, and Illinois. Yeah.
And then he was with the Patriots. So what does that tell you? He don't stay anywhere long.
Yeah. And the other fear with him would be if his alma mater is Iowa. So if Iowa comes calling, then who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you did right.
At least you're headed in the right direction. He's probably going to put you in a better spot than Scott did.
That's also not the goal, Nate. That's slightly better than Frost thing.
You guys are lowering expectations, man. This is the thing. You guys are controlling the airways. You're lowering expectations. You guys are got to understand. Somebody that's coming here has got to want to be here.
Oh, absolutely.
For 5 to 12 years.
I agree with
period.
That. I agree
because you're going to hit a peak, go on a lull, and get up to a peak. And it's gonna. You gotta have somebody. This isn't a springboard job. This isn't a job to hold me over on the chance that Notre Dame comes open, or I can go to USC, or I could go to Texas A&M, or I can go to Iowa, or whatever. This is not a springboard job.
Well, the reality
of
the
the situation,
got to
be your job, unless there's some NFL team comes. Say Nebraska is dominating the Big Ten, and some NFL team is coming with like $20 million a year. Then okay, I understand it. But this can't be Nebraska head coach that you get to the Big Ten championship, and then midnight everybody wakes up and you start at the bottom line. The next thing you know, his the private jet thing, he's going to Michigan, Ann Arbor or something.
Well, that's the reality of the situation, though, is that if you get an elite coach, almost all of them would jump for Michigan.
Well, that's why Scott was so enticing. That's why Mickey has that.
You don't think that they would
because they might stick with Nebraska. So
right.
yeah. So,
but you don't think there's more? What I don't believe that. I think there's more pressure at other places than here. You could go to Michigan, you'd be fired in 2 years.
Yeah.
You can go to Tennessee and be fired.
Harbaugh, so
you know, I mean, they'll run you out of town quicker at other places than here.
Yeah, I mean they did.
I mean, Sharknado down there at Florida went to 2 SEC championships and was gone.
Fired the next year.
And then the biggest thing they said was because his wife and him was at a fundraiser and had their own barbecue sauce. And he was in the pool with that, was it shark blow up thing or something? I mean,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
This is Dan Mullen?
No, the other dude before him.
Oh, not Muschamp. Who was the one in between?
Yeah, it's the dude. Remember, he came from Colorado State.
Oh, yeah. The McElwain train. Jim McElwain.
But he came from Alabama and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Alabama's offensive coordinator.
Well, that's the crazy thing about Florida. McElwain, Muschamp, and now Mullen all won SEC East. I mean, they all were in the SEC title games, and then they have a kind of a down spell, and then it's out.
1 year.
Yeah,
that's
Florida
does.
does.
So
Florida
be careful where you jump ship to.
Jay, what do you think about this? Ed says, could you see a hefty performance-based contract for Mickey?
Edward, I'm going to ask you why. Why does Mickey have to have a performance-based contract? Why does he can't have that contract with everybody else? I'm asking you this question, trying to get to the real answer. Why? Why is it? Why? Here's what I would ask everybody, right? Regardless of who the coach is, why is the goal line either shorter or longer all of a sudden? You get what I'm saying? Why are you moving? Why are you moving the goalposts? Why are you moving it up closer for some people and then extending the goalpost for others?
Well, I think it speaks to the fact that I think a lot of people are bought into a Mickey Joseph trial. They're not bought into a full Mickey Joseph run, but that's not a thing in college football. You've got to stick. I mean, you got to full on support
I'm
it.
sure a lot of people feeling the same thing when Dabo Swinney took over. I'm sure a lot of people were thinking the same thing when Luke Fickell went to Cincinnati. Yeah, when Luke Fickell first got there and it was his first official head coaching job, and Cincinnati wasn't Cincinnati, he was probably making $1.5 million. But sooner or later, they had to pony up.
Yeah,
or he's going to be going somewhere else.
Angry Rams guy says he has no head coaching experience, and we've effed this up before.
Okay, so now
because of Nebraska more than anything.
He's been a head coach before.
Yeah.
He's won at harder places. So Angry Ram fan, you're wrong. Secondly, what they've done before is their fault. That's not Mickey's fault. Don't come to me with your past like insecurities and think like, well, you need to pay for somebody else's what you did before. We here.
And if Nebraska wants Mickey and they're dilly-dallying around, and they're not doing this is just kind of the fans' perspective, and it's not going to happen. But like we're saying, if they're dilly-dallying around with these performance-based contracts and all that, there's going to be somebody else offering him more money. Because if he's going to get the Nebraska job, like I said, I think he's going to have to earn it. He's going to have to, and when he earns it for Nebraska, he's going to earn it for whatever his next job is.
How you think? Do you think? I'm believing. You don't think he's done that right now? You don't. I mean, do you really think right now that whoever his agent is, Nate O'Brien Agency?
How about that?
You don't think that phone? You don't think that phone's ringing?
I bet it is.
You don't think his agent's getting text messages?
Oh, I bet he is.
Okay, then that's enough said.
Of course he is. I wish I was his agent. I'd want some of that contract.
Okay, then, so you're answering my question. So don't think it's a guarantee that you might not get a press release and you getting the deuces.
What I don't understand, and this is what I don't think is the guarantee, and everyone keeps saying, no matter what, he'll be retained on the staff.
No.
What makes you think that Mickey Joseph's going to be okay saying, all right, I'll go back to wide receivers coach? No, so why are we so confident that he's going to say that?
The only person that he would do that for, you know who that would be? Me.
Is that right?
All right, man.
Are we going to start let's start the Jay Foreman thing. Yeah, you said you get better than 6 and 6.
Jay Foreman for head coach.
I think I know. I think I eliminated myself doing that when I tried to tell Scott Frost and them to run out there with that baseball bat. No, he
still won't get over
he act like he was scared.
Oh, have you heard of this?
Would you tell Scott Frost with a baseball?
Give it to a player and tell them to run, when you run out to the thing, they run out the tunnel and they got the band or whatever.
Yeah.
Got the little,
the band, the cheerleaders and all that.
Yeah.
Tell one of your players to come out there with a baseball bat. If you're right, run right down that sideline, right past them with that baseball bat. Let them know you're gonna be there. I'm out, man. I got stuff to do, man. I'm out of here.
Hey, I like that though. I like that one.
Yeah. All right, we'll go ahead and throw it to break. Jay's stepping out. All right, we'll throw it to break. Me and Bach are sticking around for the end of Old School. Stay with us.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and I'm back with Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, you said to me earlier you have a lot going on at the dealership. Can you tell our listeners about it?
Sure can, Charlie. As I've said before, if you don't see a vehicle on our lot that you're looking for, it's probably on its way soon.
So, how many new Hondas do you have in stock or on the way?
We have a total of over 325, Charlie, with a great selection of Pilots and Ridgelines in stock right now.
Well, we have been talking about the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars for several months. How is that going?
People love it. We're buying all makes and models, whether they purchase the car from us or not. I mean, really, it's a no hassle, and we will pay them cash on the same day.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, arts, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. There is no better place to watch any Nebraska game other than the 50-yard line at Memorial Stadium. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
You finally finished your man cave in the basement. Brand new furniture, huge TV, and all of your collector's items. You're ready for football season. You are so excited until one bad rain and it is all ruined. Don't risk a flooded basement and countless dollars in damages when it can be avoided. Call John Henry's today for a free sump pump estimate for your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping. Thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Casey's General Stores is giving away 2 tickets to each Nebraska football home game this season. To enter, just head to any Casey's General Store location in Lincoln during the football season, scan the QR code at the front counter, and fill out the online form. One winner will be chosen at random 2 days before that week's game. So head over to Casey's, stock up on all your tailgating snacks and drinks, and register to win 2 tickets to a Nebraska football game, brought to you by Casey's General Store and 93.7 The Ticket.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. And you can check out our spaces before you visit in person with a virtual campus tour. An opportunity to see our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, and Milford as you learn about our programs and areas of study. There are virtual tours of our learning centers too. We can even take you on a personalized virtual tour. Learn more on our website, southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
We'll see increasing cloud cover late in the day. We'll top out near 62. Winds turning out of the southeast at around 15. Mostly cloudy tonight with a low of 41. We'll see a chance of scattered showers tomorrow with an afternoon high of 58. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money, but like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to old school with DP and J.
Great conversations as always here on Old School. My name is Nate Brennan. He is Jake Bakoven. A little bit of a reunion from the OG Ticket water cooler.
That's right.
Stepping in here on Old School. Hit us up, 402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline, starting text line. Appreciate you guys chiming in as always. We're going to continue the conversation. You can also check us out, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that good stuff. So, Bach, let's go through the text line. We have a lot of people chiming in on this, and some interesting questions, too. So keep it coming. 402-464-5685, starting text line. Mark says, where would you rank Mickey with current Big Ten coaching salaries? Is that the standard? Is that how Mickey's going to be paid compared to the rest of the Big Ten? Is he going to be compared to the salary you gave Scott Frost? Because it would be an interesting discussion, because I don't know if Nebraska's ever been in this realm before where essentially you're promoting your wide receivers coach within to be the head coach. It's an interesting predicament, and I'd be curious to see what Dabo Swinney got when he was promoted, for what it's worth, too.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody's kind of moved themselves up to about $4 million is the kind of the lowest in the Big Ten, and that was Scott Frost this past year, $4 million per year. I think just about everybody's up to that. I think that it would probably start from somewhere around there, because that's, it's his first job. But at the same time, again, it depends on if Arizona State or Colorado comes calling. If somebody else tries to bid for him, then you've got to outbid for him. So
especially if he's your guy.
Right. So, I mean, in my mind, I don't think you would need to pay Harbaugh's salary. I don't think you need to pay Ryan Day's salary to get him. I think that it would probably start in the lower third, just because of, the experience and kind of the way to build yourself up that way. But so I would start, 4.5, somewhere around there per year. If you go lower than that, I mean, I don't know if you want to pay somebody less. I mean, I get the idea. Nebraska's certainly been in the case where they've been overpaying and paying off coaches' contracts for years afterward. Then there's the fear of doing that as well. But I don't think you want to look cheap in your hiring process either.
And then think how disrespectful that is to be like, okay, you've earned this job. You've done everything that we've asked you to do. We trust you with this job. We're going to give you the job, but we're not going to give you what you've done to earn the job. Like, that does not rub me the right way.
Well, and that's why I think there's a lot of people. I think a lot of people are supporting Mickey Joseph, and they want to see him give it a trial run. But I don't think this is as far as a trial run as you can get.
This is the trial.
This is the trial run, but you've got to commit. You can't give him $2.5 million and then tell, because he's not going to feel secure. He's going to think he's still on the trial run. And not only will they think that, that's probably what it would be. If you're giving him that low a salary, you're telling him we're still just testing this out. He wants. I don't want a test out head coach. I want a head coach. So whether or not you're on the Mickey train, you got to be all the way on. You can't be halfway on. Let's see how it goes. You've got to believe this is your next coach. And I think there's a lot of people that are supportive. I think there's a lot of people that are starting to lean that way. I've leaned that way more so than when he took over the job, but I'm not fully in yet. And to make the Mickey Joseph hire, I would have to be fully in, not think, let's test this out.
But and I think that's the biggest point, Bach, is that the whole reason that you have the interim in front of the head coaching position is to say that, okay, you're not the head coach. Like you are currently, but long-term, you haven't had that salary. Like you haven't been signed to the contract. Like that is the trial. Like having an interim head coach and having him in this position and saying, okay, we're going to see what you do as the head coach. That's the trial. Like, I completely agree. I don't understand how you can walk into a situation, especially at Nebraska, where you've had such a train wreck for the past 5, 6, however far you want to go back to consider this a train wreck. It's become a train wreck. Why do you want to halfway go in on a guy and just keep this constant cycle going? Because the snowball is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. If you're going to have him be the head coach, commit to it. Have him be the guy. And that's the thing, too. And Thundersoft Collins says Mickey has earned the job already. His conduct on and off the field, the player's mindset, recruiting, and the way he handles himself in front of the media. We're wasting energy talking about it. The only reason and the only pushback I would have against that is that Trev said very specifically he's going to talk to people. And I know for a fact that he has been talking to people, and I know those conversations are going to continue. And if you are in a position, and you're Trev Alberts, you have been trusted as the athletic director for Nebraska. Whether we want it, whether we like it or not, whether you're okay with the way he's done it, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, he has been the one tasked to do the job. And the job is for him to get the best candidate to be the head coach. Now, it might be Mickey. I'm not saying it isn't, and I'm not saying that it is. But I think it would be kind of irresponsible at this point to just say, okay, you're the guy. Doesn't matter how the rest of the season plays out. Doesn't matter what happens. You get the job. I think that's a little irresponsible, and I think that's not what Trev's been tasked to do.
Yeah, and I'm for those that think that he's already had the job for his conduct and stuff, I mean, I like that, but I mean, we could see from yesterday, he's still got some learning to do on the job as well. He's and then the other part about it to me is the reason why I'm not sold and convinced is because victories over Indiana and Rutgers just isn't going to do it for me. I understand the challenge that he's been put up against. I understand that he's been able to turn this around a little bit, but it's a hard read because you have to remember at the same time, Scott Frost wasn't getting blown out of games. So we can say it's a complete debacle that you handed to him and it feels pretty debacle-y, but at the same time, he wasn't taking over a team that was losing every other game 56-10 and then came back and got these victories.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that Mickey Joseph has done a solid job in taking over Nebraska and getting them to the 2-2 mark that he has with them. I don't think he's the only person on planet Earth that could have done it.
No, but I think this is what me and Strick said yesterday, and I think there's a lot of merit in this, is that I think he's put you in the right direction. No matter which way you want to slice it, I'm not saying that he's the only guy that could have gotten him to this point, but I think you have to look beyond just the record. And I said that last year with Scott Frost too, ended up biting me in the butt because that didn't work out whatsoever. But I think you have to look beyond the record, and like some of our text line is saying, you have to look at the culture. You have to look at the locker room. You have to look at the player buy-in. You have to look at the relationships. You have to look at the recruit. Like, there are so many aspects that you have to look at outside of the record, because I had this conversation with Strickbach, and my only pushback against you would be this, is that Mickey Joseph has done something that was somewhat unimaginable. Like, let's not have recency bias in saying this. We were having discussions that after that Georgia Southern game, is this rock bottom for the program? Like, when can you point to another point in time that Nebraska is 1-2, losing to a team that moved to the FBS less than a decade ago, and saying they beat you at home, you gave up the most points or the most yards in Memorial Stadium history, and now you fired your head coach on top of that? Like, there was discussions, this might be rock bottom for the program as we know it. And for him to turn the program around, even you don't even have to call it a turnaround. For him to get wins against Rutgers and Indiana, I'm not going to say it's nothing short of amazing, but it's impressive. And for him to be able to do that, and not only do that, but build confidence in this program. Like there's a resurgence in the fan base, in the players, in the coaching staff. I mean, it goes far beyond just winning a football game.
Okay, but let me
there's something to be said for that.
Let me tell you this. In a matchup with you, I give you Anthony Grant, and you give me Devin Mockabee. Who do you think has the advantage?
Anthony Grant.
Mickey didn't win that battle. He had Anthony Grant. So, I mean, when you're a head coach, some of these things, you have to look at totality, and I think you have to let this play out, too, again, because the Indiana and Rutgers thing, again, there's no easy victories in the Big Ten. But those are probably the easiest victories in the Big Ten other than Northwestern, which obviously got screwed up from the beginning.
I would agree with you. We're on the same page.
Now, if you want to see how Mickey Joseph can prepare and the winning culture and all that stuff, you have to wait and see what happens when you play the meat of the Big Ten. And you're in luck because you get to see it. You get to see it these next several weeks when you play Illinois, when you play Michigan, when you end up playing Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa. That's what you're going. That's the true test that I want to see for my next head football coach. It's not beating Indiana. It's not beating Rutgers. I expect that regardless of who we hire. But if you want to get back to the level, again, I that's why I don't want this level of, hey, let's find somebody that does better than Scott Frost. No, let's get back to hopefully, and I know it can't happen overnight unless you get an Urban Meyer, somebody like that, Lincoln Riley can just rise your program in 1 year like that. The expectations aren't going to rise that, but I don't want to be, this program that takes us 5 years to get back to the expectation of 9 wins. Let's get somebody in that we can build and believe, hey, 2 to 3 years, we're going to be competing for the Big Ten title.
But I think in order to do that, Bach, also Landon says, what would Virginia Tech do? Virginia Tech would hire Justin Fuente and tank the entire program, Landon. I don't even want to talk about Virginia Tech. They're not a part of this discussion because they have their own set of issues that are far worse than Nebraska's right now, believe that or not. The thing is, though, and I also want to apologize. You guys are saying that there's a lot of bass coming through your speakers. We're getting our parking lot redone, so they're actually in the process of doing that right now. So you might hear a little bit of bass. We apologize for that. Stick with us. We're still going to have this discussion. But, yeah, we're having a little bit of bass issues.
It's like we're teenagers with our
I know.
What are those?
We're bumping the speakers that they put in the trunk.
Yeah, I can't remember what those are called.
What is
we need a young person.
Harrison's got to know. What is it? The speakers, not boom, no. I can't remember, but no, that would be why you guys are hearing bass. So we're not doing that intentionally. We apologize. We're getting our parking lot fixed. But I think, Bach, when you talk about Mickey Joseph and something that you haven't really mentioned yet, which I think
subwoofer.
Yes.
Yep, there it is.
Subs, yes. Thank you, Disingenuous. I think what you haven't mentioned is how quickly he's changed the culture. And that's one thing is if you want to win football games, it has to start somewhere. And it's not as easy as just winning football games because they've tried 2 head coaches and that hasn't worked literally at all. But I think if you're starting from somewhere, it's how quickly the culture has shifted. And you can see it. And I'm not saying that it's there yet, but I'm saying when you're looking for a direction and you're looking to head into that right direction, they're there. They're not where they're going to be, and they're not the end goal. And I don't think this is a 9-win football team because I agree with you, Bach. This is Nebraska. Your goal and your expectation should be 9-10 wins and competing for the Big Ten. Not winning the Big Ten because there's still the Ohio States of the world. There's still the Michigans. There's still the Penn States. I get all of that. But at the same time, you should be in the discussion. You should be competing. That starts with culture. And I think how quickly that turned around, there's something to be said for that. I think you haven't really mentioned that as much.
Well, because culture is a dangerous word. I mean, because culture is hard to read, hard to see. We've been talking for years about how to get a winning culture in, and they've tried, this, that, the other thing. I like the buttons that he's pushed, right? No music in practice, and more player accountability, all that stuff. I like the direction that he's put it that way, and that is a strong point for him. At the same time, I don't like talking about culture other than winning and losing culture, because winning culture can be proven through wins and losing culture can be proven through losses. If you go through this culture, you can get like a feel good story and people feel good and then get your butt walloped on Saturday. You don't, the culture thing is just hard to discuss. Yes, there's energy in the program. Yes, he pushed some different buttons, to try to get this thing motivated. And I like the fact that he's done that. But I saw Tim Miles try to do that with his basketball teams. It didn't work. It's not necessarily a quick fix problem.
I don't think you can compare it to basketball.
I'm not comparing it to basketball.
It's not the same at all.
I was relating to a Nebraska fan standpoint. I'm comparing it to anybody. There's a lot of people that have tried to push a lot of buttons through their college football coaching or any type of coaching that can be perceived as changing culture because, it's new, it's exciting, people are in on it. I have a hard time completely saying, okay, the culture has flipped.
I'm not saying it's flipped. And I know the text line has said how the culture has changed. I'm not saying it's flipped. I'm not saying that they're pointed in the right direction. The biggest thing that I can take away is that players have spoken at a podium and talked about their respect for Mickey, how much they appreciate him, things like that. Like you can go into Casey Thompson, what he said yesterday about Mickey, how he's taken him under his wing, how he's been a tough coach, how he appreciates him. The thing is that people don't realize, like when you go to the podium, all he had to do was say, I respect Mickey. I wish the best. He's done a great job. Move on.
But did you listen to Casey Thompson before when it was Frost? Casey Thompson.
It was not the same.
Casey Thompson's is incredible at the podium, regardless.
Absolutely. But there's a different feel when you win a game against Indiana and you go into the locker room and Mickey Joseph's dancing, the players are chanting Mickey. Trev Alberts is in the locker room for crying out loud. That is a different feel. Like you can just see it firsthand when a team is in a locker room chanting their coach's name like that. There's a feeling about it, and I'm not saying that it's flipped. I'm not saying where it needs to be, and I'm not saying that the culture is there to win 9 football games. But I'm saying right now, I think it looks different.
I think it does too.
It is noticeably different on the field, off the field, and I think there's something to be said for that.
I think
that's important.
There's something to be said for that. I just don't put as much stock into it as maybe others have. I mean, again, you read off a text and said, "Yeah, the culture's changed. Let's hire him." I'm not to that point. I need to see. This is a critical point for Nebraska football. It's been 25 years since Tom Osborne left this program. He coached here for 25 years.
Right.
In the 25 years since then, it's been a lot of up and downs. There's, the younger generation doesn't even know what winning looks like. So, I mean, I think that every hire feels like a critical point, right? But especially after the Scott Frost debacle, you're at the lowest place your program's ever been. I don't want to take my chance on a gut feeling. I mean, you've got. I think this is such a critical hire. You've got to hit this one. So
I agree.
I hope
that's why I'm on the same page.
Why
you don't just hire.
I don't want people to see me as like some anti Mickey Joseph guy. I hope you see it the way that I see it, in that he's got to earn this thing. And earning this thing, maybe it means beating Illinois. Maybe it means, toughening up and beating a Minnesota or Iowa or Wisconsin, getting some of those things, getting to a bowl. I've even lowered my expectation because of what he's done, which started when he was interim, was okay, get him to a bowl game. If it looks good and they're 5-7, that's why I kind of say, there can be worse 6-6 teams than a good 5-7 team or a better 5-7 team.
I agree with you.
Despite the fact that they lose. So, I mean, I think that that's a possibility. So I want to see if Mickey Joseph turns this around and gets 5 wins out of this and it looks pretty solid, then absolutely. And I think Trey Palmer's a huge part of this, right? If he can get a few more Trey Palmers, Mickey Joseph, then you can kind of start seeing, this thing turning around. At the same time, think, what if they didn't have Trey Palmer for that Purdue game? I mean, so there's a lot of questions to have
because of Mickey Joseph.
He is, and that's why
we all know that.
I think Trey Palmer is one of the biggest reasons that Mickey Joseph probably should gain some steam, because if you get a few more of those guys, I mean, you could with even.
I'll say Malachi Coleman's probably part of that discussion too.
I would hold off on that. On any high school recruit, unless it's that big time compared to a guy that just set a school record.
That's part of energy, like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like that builds energy. That shows. That's a reflection on other recruits too, right? I mean, if you see a guy that's from Nebraska that's a top-rated recruit, guess what? Nebraska wasn't getting those guys, and now you are. And I think that shows something. That shows energy. That shows a rejuvenation in the program. I'm not saying it's there. I want to make myself very clear. I'm not saying it's all fixed with Mickey Joseph. I'm just saying I think we're in a better spot now than we were after the Georgia Southern game.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. And that's what I want the text line to answer is, do you think right now we are in a better spot than after the Georgia
But
State?
if you weren't,
I would say yes.
If you weren't, Mickey wouldn't be in the conversation.
I'd agree.
And we would just kind of be the season's going along. Who are these outside guys? Mickey is very, and when it started, it was kind of like, yeah, we'll see what Mickey does. Now Mickey's in the conversation.
Oh, absolutely. He has to be.
Yeah.
He has to be.
And if he beats Illinois, who knows?
I'm telling you right now, if he beats Illinois, Nebraska storms, and then maybe we can talk about giving him a job on the spot. Think about what that would do, because the thing is, think about what that would do for the program to have a win like that. And I know it's just 17th ranked Illinois. Listen, when's the last time Nebraska beat a ranked opponent?
2016.
When's the last time Nebraska beat a ranked Big Ten opponent?
Further back.
That's my point. Like, think about what that does for a fan base, for the players, for the coach. Like, that has such an impact on the team that then maybe we have a discussion. You know what? Hire this guy on the spot, because this is, and I hate to say that it's a program changer because it's 17th ranked Illinois. This could be a program changer. Seriously. Like, this is okay. You haven't arrived, but we're not a joke anymore. Like, we have someone coming into our building on a primetime game on ABC where, whether you like it or not, if you got cable, you have to watch this game. You have to watch Nebraska play Illinois at home. That is a defining win. And I think that could propel the program forward.
And by the way, definitely pro storming the field. I know some people think Nebraska's a blue blood. You can't do that for this Illinois. These are college kids. Let them have their fun. They haven't had fun in 9 years. Let these group of college kids have their tiniest amount of fun and storm the field.
I agree. When's the last time Nebraska stormed? Let me know. Text line 402-464-5685. This is a pro storm group right now.
That's right.
Me and Bach are pro storm. I know DP is not pro storm as much, so I'm not going to say that old school is a pro storm, but I'm saying Bach and I are pro storm. Nebraska, I think, does storm. I want to know who the last time Nebraska stormed. It was probably a while ago.
Yeah, I can't even think of it.
Let us know. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on Old School.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit, and you can check out our spaces before you visit in person with a virtual campus tour, an opportunity to see our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, and Milford as you learn about our programs and areas of study. There are virtual tours of our learning centers too. We can even take you on a personalized virtual tour. Learn more on our website, southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. There is no better place to watch any Nebraska game other than the 50-yard line at Memorial Stadium. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
Hey, this is Ernest Hausman. As a linebacker from Nebraska,
I know how important it is to have a strong defense and a great playbook. If you are looking for a solid team to have your back, check out my friends at Burke Brown Law. Burke and Jackson will work with you to create an individualized strategy to bolster your defense.
Hi, this is Burke. Give us a call at 402-606-1441. With locations in Lincoln and Columbus, we're ready to tackle your needs. Find us online at burkebrownlaw.com.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit asbmidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me, yelling at the TV during Vikings games. Trek CBD has a variety of products that help calm me down during the games, so I don't scare my dog. But in the rare cases that I yell too much, there's CBD products for him, too, and all other pets. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Trek CBD has it all at 84th and Anderson. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Not DP and J, but still having a great conversation. Gotta love the interaction from all of you. Shout out to the text line, 402-464-5685. Nate Brennan, Jake Bachman, wrapping things up. Give us your final thoughts, because we have said, and we have some kind of polarizing opinions on this one. John says, if we beat Illinois and storm the field, I'm truly going to be embarrassed. No. And then on the other end, we have Joe in Boulder. College kids, heck, I'm 61. I'm going to the game. If they win, I'm going to storm the field.
Oh, there you go.
Let's go.
There we go. That's
and
the energy
then
I like to
I have
see.
to give a shout out to Jeff from Farrell's, our guy Jeff. He says, Colorado 94 took the goalpost to the set of College Game Day. Yes, 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 and more yes. I am absolutely pro-Storm. I've always been pro-Storm. And I got to say, Buck, I know that a lot of Nebraska fans probably would think that it's embarrassing that you storm against 17th ranked Illinois. Legitimately, when is the last time Nebraska beat a ranked Big Ten opponent?
Big Ten, man, I'd have to go back.
A ranked Big Ten opponent.
Yeah. Well, I think it would probably be 2015. Michigan State was a top. I think they're top 5. That was the only loss pre-playoffs. Nebraska beat them.
Was that in Nebraska?
That was at Nebraska. Brandon Riley kind of stepped out of bounds and then got back in and got the touchdown. So there was a big debate about it after the game. But was he forced out? Was he not?
What year was this?
2015. This was Mike Riley. Oh, Mike Riley. Basically, this was another point where we thought, has Nebraska football hit rock bottom? Because they lost 55-45 to Purdue. But this was like Purdue's second Big Ten win under Darrell Hazel in 3 years. I mean, it was awful.
Purdue was really bad.
They were Colorado. They were the Colorado right now, which was Kansas up until recently. But in any case, yeah. So that was the big win, and it helped to propel them into a 5-7 bowl bid. Which
that's awesome.
Was interesting.
I don't know. I think I'm a big let the kids have fun.
Yeah.
You know, think about that. If you are a 5th year senior, say you took your COVID year and you're a fifth-year senior and you're in the student section. I was a fifth-year senior. I know what it's like. I took a victory lap.
Yeah.
Say you're a fifth-year senior. You have never seen Nebraska beat anyone outside of Northwestern at home. I'm serious. Like, what are other Big Ten teams that they've seen at home? Because the COVID year doesn't count because they didn't let fans in.
Yeah.
Who are the Big Ten opponents that you have seen as a student at home that they beat? Michigan State? No.
Well, yeah. I mean, if that would have been
Minnesota,
how many years ago was that?
Minnesota was the COVID year.
Yeah.
Like
so they're going back to 2018, which is Scott Frost first year.
Right. Yeah. Who have they beat that's a Big Ten opponent at home if you're a super senior at Nebraska?
I think Minnesota.
Year
one.
And
Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Yeah, first year.
And you're beating a ranked Illinois team that has one loss. Screw it. I say Storm. Have fun. Let the kids have fun.
And imagine that fifth-year senior, too, maybe deciding to go to Nebraska because Fred Hoiberg and Scott Frost were just hired. And man, that's going to be a heck of a career there.
Yeah.
Didn't turn out that way.
No, it certainly didn't turn out
Hasn't turned out that way, but Hoiberg can still
Hoiberg can turn it around. Yeah. Well, we've talked to Strick quite a bit, and he said that he has a lot of confidence in the team. So now, how do you want to interpret that confidence? You can be the judge of that. But, I mean, I think like 500 season is successful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, if you can somehow make it into the NIT, I think you're
you're
in the right direction.
Absolutely.
I think that's a good spot for the Nebraska. I don't know. I'm pro Storm. I say let the kids have fun. I think it's a big win. And I do too. Like, I think like it's a program changing win. And I know a lot of fans like are frustrated by that, but you got to look at where the program is right now, man. Like, for crying out loud, you haven't made a bowl game in 5 years.
If Nebraska,
the 17th ranked team in the country with an interim head coach.
If Nebraska hires Mickey Joseph after beating Illinois,
it's storming.
What has Brett Bielema done to this conference? Because in the span of like 4 weeks, he'll have gotten Paul Chris fired and Mickey Joseph hired. That's the second year at Illinois of all places. What the heck's going on?
All I know is if you are pro getting rid of the Big Ten West, I don't want to have a discussion with you.
That's
Keep
right.
The Big Ten West forever.
I'm a Big Ten West guy.
the Big Ten, and same with. I'm gonna say the same about the ACC Coastal.
Oh yeah,
I'm so mad.
We love our mediocre division.
Oh, I love it. It's so interesting. It's so fun.
Yeah,
like it's so fascinating. So like Brett Bielema, shove it. We're going to storm the field on you, Brett Bielema. Why not? I don't know. Now, does it happen? I have no clue. Am I going to storm? I don't know.
You're going to be there, aren't you?
I am going to be
there. Yeah, you should storm.
No, I'm bringing some buddies from Blacksburg, too. Listen, if there's anyone that needs a win more than Nebraska, it's Virginia Tech fans. For crying out loud, now, that's a bad football team.
Yeah, Colorado might have us all beat.
Yeah, Colorado has us beat. But that'll do it for us. We appreciate all of you. Jake Bakoven, Nate Brennan stepping in on Old School. DP and Jay, they will be back, and they will be remote tomorrow from Scarlet Hotel. Go check them out. We'll be back tomorrow. 93.7 The Ticket. See ya.
Hopcat exists